The Indonesian government has embarked on an ambitious journey of tax reformation, aimed at bolstering economic growth, increasing state revenue, and promoting fairness within the tax system. This move is driven by the recognition that an efficient and equitable tax system is essential for sustainable development. Indonesia's tax system, prior to reformation, faced several challenges, including low tax compliance, a narrow tax base, and an over-reliance on indirect taxes. These issues led to insufficient tax revenue, which constrained the government's ability to finance public services and infrastructure. In addition, the complexity of the tax code created opportunities for tax evasion and avoidance, further undermining the system's effectiveness. Key aspects of the tax reformation: simplification of tax procedures. The Indonesian government has introduced measures to simplify tax procedures, making it easier for individuals and businesses to comply. The use of digital platforms for tax filing and payment has been expanded, reducing administrative burdens and enhancing transparency. Broadening the tax base. Efforts have been made to broaden the tax base by reducing exemptions and incorporating more sectors and individuals into the tax net. This helps to ensure that more taxpayers contribute to the system, thereby increasing overall revenue. Introduction of new tax policies. Several new tax policies have been introduced, including the expansion of value-added tax, VAT, to cover digital services and the introduction of a carbon tax. These policies are designed not only to increase revenue, but also to address emerging economic trends and environmental concerns. Strengthening tax enforcement. The government has also focused on strengthening tax enforcement through the establishment of a more robust legal framework and the enhancement of auditing capabilities. This includes efforts to combat tax evasion and avoidance, ensuring that all taxpayers fulfill their obligations. Incentives for compliance. To encourage compliance, the government has introduced various incentives, such as tax amnesty programs and reduced penalties for late payments. These measures aim to bring non-compliant taxpayers back into the system and improve overall compliance rates. Challenges and considerations. Despite the progress made, the reformation process is not without its challenges. The success of these reforms depends on effective implementation, public awareness, and cooperation from all stakeholders. Additionally, there is a need to balance revenue generation with economic growth, ensuring that tax policies do not stifle business activity or burden low-income households. Conclusion. Tax reformation in Indonesia represents a critical step towards creating a more efficient, equitable, and sustainable tax system. By addressing the weaknesses of the previous system and introducing innovative policies, the government aims to foster economic growth, enhance public services, and ensure that the benefits of development are shared more widely. The road ahead may be complex, but with continued commitment and collaboration, these reforms have the potential to transform Indonesia's economic landscape. Before diving into the specifics of the reforms, it's important to understand why such a reformation was deemed necessary. Indonesia, like many other developing countries, has faced significant challenges with its tax system. These challenges included low tax compliance, where many individuals and businesses did not fulfill their tax obligations. There was also a narrow tax base, meaning that a relatively small portion of the population and businesses were paying taxes. Additionally, the system relied heavily on indirect taxes, such as value-added tax, VAT, which placed a disproportionate burden on consumers. These issues had serious implications. For one, they limited the government's ability to generate the revenue needed to fund public services such as education, healthcare, and infrastructure development. Furthermore, the complexity of the tax code allowed for widespread tax evasion and avoidance, further weakening the system's effectiveness. Recognizing these problems, the government has taken decisive action to reform the tax system. Despite the progress made, it is important to acknowledge the challenges that lie ahead. The success of these reforms hinges on effective implementation, which requires not only government commitment but also public awareness and cooperation. There is also the need to strike a balance between generating revenue and promoting economic growth. Tax policies must be carefully designed to avoid placing excessive burdens on businesses or low-income households, as this could stifle economic activity and exacerbate inequality.